Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank all of you for being here. This is an extremely important subject. I too believe that there is a rush to green. Now, let me preface my remarks by saying that I believe in climate change. I believe it's real. I do believe it's cyclical. I've taken an active role in this discussion. I'm advocated to be on the Select Committee for Climate Change last session. I was on that committee. I'm co-chair of the Roosevelt Conservation Caucus, a member of the Conservative Climate Caucus. I've traveled to Europe and with the Conservative Climate Caucus to learn as much as I can about this issue. But one thing that I get frustrated with is that I don't feel like that we often look at the full cycle, and I always want to make that motion whenever I'm describing that, because it is a cycle, and we tend to ignore important parts of that cycle, particularly when it's over with. And what do you do with the lithium-ion batteries after it's over with? What do you do with the windmills and the blades after it's over with, and all of this stuff? And I'll be quite honest with you. I have biomass and I represent South Georgia. I have a lot of timber, a lot of forestry, and biomass is something I'm very interested in. I get it. I understand how people would think, well, you're burning something, how can that be good? But if you look at the full cycle, you'll see that our forests serve as carbon sinks, and it is carbon neutral by the end of the full cycle. And people just, that's what really frustrates me about this. In our state of Georgia, we're doing our part. We're in the top 10 now in solar energy. We've got nuclear reactors that are fixing to come online, the first in many decades that have come online in this country. So, and we've got in my district the largest economic development project in the history of our state is being built there by Hyundai, an EV plant. $5.5 billion investment that's going to create over 8,100 jobs. We're excited about that. We've got a battery plant. SK Batteries is coming there at that time. But again, I'm concerned about the total cycle, the full cycle, because I don't think people look at it. And I get frustrated because, as you all know, China puts out more hydrocarbons than the people world combined. And they're the worst polluter out there. And yet people always want to point toward us. Here in the United States in the last decade, we've decreased our carbon emissions more than the next 12 countries combined, while still growing our economy. And I do believe in an all of the above type energy strategy. I believe that fossil fuels, the natural gas, and y'all all know this. So I'm just talking to myself here because this is the preacher preaching to the choir. I get it. Mr. Mills, I want to ask you a question. As of today, only 5% of lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles are recycled, compared to 99.3% of lead-acid batteries for traditional gas-powered vehicles. Since electric vehicles rely on lithium-ion batteries, which are considered hazardous waste, by the way, what's the best way for us to address the end of the life disposal issues with electric vehicles?
Well, there is no easy answer to that, because batteries are mechanically and electrically complex machines. Each one weighs about 1,000 pounds, has thousands of components, chemicals, electronic pieces, cooling systems. So they're typically dismantled by hand. It takes 1 to 2 days for one technician to dismantle a single lithium-ion battery. It's not just chemically hazardous, it's electrically hazardous. And then you can technically recycle them. And all the studies that have been done that show you can eventually get there. It'll be very expensive. There is no path to cheap recycling of lithium-ion batteries. There is technically a path to eventually get there, but they won't be available for recycling until the cars wear out.
What about the blades on windmills?
There is no path now. There's been one announcement at recyclable resins made for batteries, but for wind turbine blades. For now, they're trash.
Okay. Yeah, you get what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
The full cycle is just, we don't look at that. I want to shift real quick. Mr. Simmons, you mentioned it, that one solution to the human rights issues that we know happens, like in Congo, where we're getting some of these critical minerals, is to increase critical mineral production and refinery in the United States. How can such an expansion occur under the Biden administration's current policies?
Under current policies, it can't.
Exactly. Again, folks, we got to look at the total picture here. We got to look at the full cycle. I know it doesn't do me any good to keep doing this, but I'm just telling you, we're not looking at it from its totality. Mr. Chairman, and if y'all ever want to see time fly, come here and get 5 minutes, and you'll see time fly. Thank y'all, and I yield back.
I thank the gentleman for